says the microeconomic indicators are pointing to the right direction. Let me ask you this directly. Are they pointing at the right direction?
No. I mean, if you look at the tone, in fact, in the past 25 years or so, or let's say the past 32 years, Ghana has been laying a foundation. I don't know what kind of building we want to put on that foundation that is taking us more than 32 years. And we are still laying foundation. We are still restoring. We are still rebuilding. Every 4 years, we talk about rebuilding, restoring, correcting. Okay, so it's very difficult to actually see the incremental progress that we are making, which will translate to improvement in the real lives of people. We should be interested to know how many people have we lifted out of poverty in the last 7 years. Right. How have the standard of living of Ghanaians improved? Let's not take it for granted that what has happened from the third quarter of 2021 to date, which also resulted in the domestic debt exchange, has never happened in our history before. And we should not underestimate the impact of that domestic debt exchange and the numerous taxes that Ghanaians have had to go through. Since I started monitoring data and interacting with people in this country, I've never seen in my life at a time where so many people want to leave this country. Professionals, the slightest opportunity, they want to go. You see them during the day at the embassies. In the evening, you see them at the airport. They are leaving. I think that we need to go beyond that, and I want to believe that I don't think that we have made much progress. And if you see what the president is recounting, and that is what our leaders have been doing in the last couple of years, we are counting projects. We are counting projects, physical things here and there. But how all of this work together to improve life, that disconnect, okay, is there. We are not able to put all of that together to see how at the end of the day, this actually impact human life. Because whether we like it or not, at the center of it all is about human beings. So when we talk about development, when we talk about progress, it must impact people. So we talk about the 5 P's. Development must impact people. It must reflect peace. It must reflect partnership, prosperity, and it must also preserve the planet Earth. So let's ask our president, the government, whether the progress we are talking about here has preserved our planet Earth. And that is why I talked earlier about our fight against galamsey. How has this impacted people? Because, you can talk about GDP, but I have said it time and again that the mere fact that GDP is positive and it's growing necessarily doesn't mean that all is well with Ghanaians. Okay, we are talking about a metric, a proper one that goes beyond GDP. We are no longer going to celebrate GDP growth because it doesn't necessarily imply that standards of living or development has arrived or has come and the rest of them. So I think that, and I'm about to believe that the president knows very well that things haven't gone well, especially how we manage COVID and then the election and all that happened. And MFA, what really typified the lack of leadership is the fact that collectively we fail to recognize the signs much or when it matters most. And we have said that the optimal time for Ghana to have requested an IMF program was actually in the third quarter of 2021. Ghana and Kenya exited COVID having a similar economic fundamentals in terms of debt challenges and the rest of them. The difference, Kenya didn't have to do a haircut, okay, and domestic one for that matter was that Kenya proactively reached out to the IMF soon after COVID-19, okay, and secured a 3-year extended credit facility worth over $3 billion. At that time, Ghana chose pride. When the call was optimal, the time was optimal, we failed to do so. And I want to believe that that is where the leadership failed Ghana. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had to go through the kind of restructuring, especially the domestic debt exchange that we went through. And
Thank you.